Hey everybody, welcome back to the Inhabitmars channel on this nice and cold Wednesday morning. I say cold, it's probably not too bad compared to other parts of the country right now, but it's been a little cold here, and I don't know how everybody else is doing, but we're finally getting over this sickness. Jenny's feeling a little better today. So that's good. Me and the girls are, pretty well over it. Uh, thank God. I don't think it was COVID again. This will be the third time. But anyway, I got some more stuff done on this model, and actually got some. I made some improvements to the burns that Chris had done. As I said in the last video, I'm not real good at GIMP, but I do fiddle around with it a good bit, and I can make textures for my terrain and sky and everything else when I add those to the images and stuff like that. But enhancements, I can do basic enhancements and stuff like that. But I decided to spend a good bit of time yesterday playing with the different things on there. Oh, sorry, my nose is running, so I'm gonna be rubbing my nose a little bit here and there. But anyway, this is the image we're going to be looking at today, and I'm gonna show you the stuff that I modeled. But first, I want to show you the stuff that I was able to get done on cleaning up some of these images. So let's go first of all over to the original. Let's see. Okay, this one. Let me click over here. Okay, so this is the burn that Chris had done, and of course, like I said, he's good at burning these. So I usually don't try to go back to and enhance his. I try to go back to the original and see if I can bring anything else out. And I figured out some things. I went to the different filters and stuff. I used anti-aliasing and denoising and de-interlace. One of those, I think it's a de-interlace, that if it's got that kind of grid pattern in it and it's got a line of data and then the other line has been taken out, whether it's in rows or columns, it doesn't matter. It will sit there and extrapolate the missing ones, and I actually found out that you can clean up images that way pretty well and get some stuff modeled. Now, it's not going to make everything super clear. It's the computer trying to extrapolate the data, the missing data, from what's available on the line before and the line after, or something like that. I don't know exactly how it works, but it works, and it cleans it up. And it's not perfect, obviously, but so this is the original burn by Chris, and that's one snippet that I took. And let me show you this one, and then this is the second one. Okay, so I just took these snippets from his burn. All right, and let me zoom in so you kind of see. I also sharpen the image just a little bit. You don't want to over sharpen because then it gets really distorted, but it gets blocky. So, but as you can see here, this is his burn, and I was trying to model stuff in here, and I had to change some models once I got the some of the stuff figured out on GIMP, and like I say, now this is no insult to him. He is really good at this, and this is the first one. So, but I needed to clean it up a little more, and so let me just show you what I did. And this is pretty cool because I just figured this stuff out. Let's see, where's the first one? This one? It's gotta be this one. Okay. All right. And one thing that which I don't know which one this is, but it also kind of separates things based on their focal length or their blurriness from the camera. It tries to figure out the where the objects are in the image, and it actually gives you a little bit of depth to it. So this is the first enhancement I did. And the one thing I also want to talk about, and I know I'm wasting time, but my friend Bruce mentions to me, he says, you know, I can tell that's not a rock, this part right here. He said, but I don't see the tank treads that you're talking about. And so I adjusted some of the contrast, and like I said, ran it through the different filters, see if I could bring this stuff out. And I think in this image you can see a little better. Here's the tank treads right here. And this is what I believe are tank treads. And once again, this is, I'm not telling you this 100% what this is. It's just what it appears to be. And, you know, I modeled that. You can see it gave it some depth. I can now tell that this object is definitely behind this one. It's not attached to it. If it is, it's attached obviously to the back of it. And it also separated these two out a little bit, so these are actually two separate objects, which I wasn't 100% sure about the first time around. And then you can see that the profile of this tank that's right here, which the treads are a little harder to see, but you can see that fender over here. And you can just barely make out what looks like, once again, looks like tank treads over here. And then there's an object in front of it, and we're going to get into that in the model. Still working on this piece here. This box right here I got done. This stuff here. Take a look at these. I modeled this one, and this one. Those look pretty cool. I don't know what those things are, but I can tell you it's some sort of very shiny, like almost chrome metal, the way it's reflecting. And I can at least show you the shape of them. They actually look like intake scoops on an engine. All right, like racing intake scoops. That's what I'm trying to say. But you can see in the is it the deinterlace? How it added some of the stuff back in, which gives us a little more detail in some of the stuff. Now, once again, it's not going to be super clear, but it also separates stuff out. Like you can see now that this is separate from the stuff behind it, and I still have no idea what this is. I've been trying to figure this piece out and then this piece out for a while, and this may be separate pieces. This may be one piece, this may be a second piece, and there may be a third piece behind it. I'm starting to think that's what that is, but I've been trying to figure out what this thing is for the longest time. So I got these things here done. I still haven't done this one. I'm not sure. I could see obviously the shape of it. It almost has like a pickaxe head shape to it, you know. And then there's an object behind it. But it's pretty cool playing with the different filters and stuff. And this object is still the same as we showed last time, but now can you see what looks like tank treads right there? And they go right up underneath that piece. So I think I was right about that one. Okay, so that's the one. Let's go over to this other one. And that one is this one. Okay, and I did kind of the same thing here. I can't remember exactly all the stuff I did. Once again, I just kind of fiddle around until I get something that looks good. But this came out almost as good. Once again, you can see some depth here, and you can see the separation of this vehicle here. Here's this box we're going to look at. What was in this one that I want? Oh, and then these two. Once again, could be more treads here. It actually looks like cogs sitting on the side, and I have an image of a tank. Let's see. Is that going to show what I want to show? Yeah, there's the cogs and stuff. These are World War II tanks. I think these are, like say, German Panzer tanks. What I wanted to show was some of these equipment boxes and stuff that they have attached on the sides of tanks, and just different things, you know. Let's see. This one actually looks like it's got some sort of duffel bag or something on the back. Canvas material is what that looks like there, and then there's a box over here. I just wanted to show you a couple of different things on that. So that's what we have now. Let's get over to Blender. I'm going to bring up Blender. Let me just go. I don't know if it's better to show it this way or go here. Well, alright, we'll flip over to actual Blender. Okay, so here's that first burn of Chris's, and I actually changed it out to my enhanced version for modeling purposes. Alright, so this is the image. Alright, it's the same image. And let's go turn on our models. And that's vehicles, and that's objects. Oh, the other thing was, I don't know why, but the microphone, it was plugged in, but it wasn't picking up the mic in the last one. You could hear me tapping on the keys really loud. Now I can just hear it, you know, just coming through the microphone. For some reason, it was recording through the computer microphone last time, so I'm sorry about that. Whenever I tap on the table or something, I really don't like you to hear it, because I'm sure it's distracting. But okay, so we looked at these, and I'll just do these real briefly, because now you can see that big cog in the back, and there's a cog in the front, and then I'm sure there's some down here that we just can't pick up real well. The only thing I really changed on this tank was it looks like I said there was equipment strapped to the fender on this side, and so I just added a box to it. That was all. I modeled that box real quick yesterday. Well, I tried to do it quick, and it came out all right. Getting close so you can see the texture, but there you go. So that was the box that I modeled. That was the only thing I really added to that one. Looks like I gotta rotate it a little bit. I had it rotated, I swear, but we'll fix it for the final model. Okay, and then we looked at this. Oops, I know what I didn't do. There we go. And this, oh shoot, I didn't even mention this piece back here. I still don't know what this thing is. I had a couple of people look at this, and it seems to have that shape, but I don't know what that could be. That seems to be what that looks like. Almost looks like a shoe, like I say. We'll go to this one. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do want to get into the new stuff. So there you go. That's this one. And once again, you can see that what looks like a fender over here, over these treads, and there was some stuff in the way here, but this one comes across here and then curves down over here, and that's what this one looks like. Okay, the one up on the hill, we want to look at that because you can actually see now those treads, or what look like treads to me. I mean, that's what That's the first thing I noticed was these go up underneath this part here. And they really look like tread when you really get into them. I mean, it's blurry, but it looks like the cogs that go to the bottom of the track, and it's angled. I mean, the shape and everything seems to conform to what tank treads should look like. Okay, and that's this vehicle here. Oops. Let's back out of here a little bit. And that's what he looks like. Just like this. Alright, and I'm guessing that's like an armor personnel carrier. I don't know. And then these two. And they're right here. And once again, looks like these look more like open treads that they don't have a fender cover over them. Maybe the fender got blown off. Maybe maybe it never had it. I don't know. But yeah, that's that right there. And then what I thought looked like a command vehicle, and of course there's no way to tell if it really is. There's right here. Now you're not gonna be able to see it in this image. I didn't bring the other one in, but we get to the final model, I'll have everything done. But that's kind of what he looks like. Let's just click on you so I can rotate around you. And if I'm able to bring out any more details, I'll obviously put them in the models. I have no idea what the... Oh, that didn't connect together. Anyway, that axle's supposed to be connected together, and then I gotta tighten up some of those edges. When you put a subdivision surface on it, it smooths everything out, and then you go back and tighten everything back up with loop cuts. So I'll go through and do that. Okay, so let's hide our vehicles and let's get into the objects, because that's what I want to talk about on this one. Oh, let me put them back in place. Control C. Okay. Vehicles hide. All right, let's get into some of these. Some of these are pretty cool objects. Let's start with this concrete piece, and if it is concrete, I don't know, but it looks like concrete. Okay. Here's this piece right here. It comes across, slopes down, comes across. This area seems to be cut out. And then it's got this little, that might be metal. I can't believe it's concrete with that shape, with hollow in the middle, but I'll show you what that looks like. And this. And I probably should have showed you in the image. It's a little bit better. But this is what this looks like. Just to give you an idea of the shape. Let me put it in matte cap because you can't really get any detail. Okay, this is that concrete or whatever piece it is. And it's got this piece that protrudes out. Here's this like wing-like looking thing that sticks out. I got to tighten up some edges on that too. And then it's got these, oops. These kind of, this notch piece that comes out, and that comes pretty well even with this bottom, like it sits on this, and maybe this is a support to keep this upright. I have no idea what orientation it's supposed to be in, but it's obviously laying right in front of what I believe to be that tank. So that's what that looks like. Okay, let's go back into shading. And I don't have any lighting yet. I haven't done any of the lighting, but that was pretty cool. And then I want to show you this box. I think I showed this a little bit on the last one, but I adjusted it a little bit. Alright, move it down just a little more. Okay, and I haven't put the holes in yet, but these look like holes, like it's got 3 rails that come across. And this would be the lid for this box right here. The only thing I could tell was there's a shelf in here, and there's these long cubes that go parallel with the side of the box. I could see that it looks like on both sides, so I modeled that here, and that seems to be what it looked like. And this would be the lid that goes on here. What that is, I don't know. But that's what it looked like. Okay, now these two objects here, I'm just gonna move them out of the way. They look like intake scoops for an engine, for like a race car engine or something. That's what they look like. Can you? Hopefully you can see those clear enough in this image. That's them. Okay, let's start with the other one. Let's hide you. Take 02 hide. So this was the first one, and it's got these metal brackets that come down. It's very shiny and reflective. You see that in the image? Look at the shine that's on this. So it's like some sort of chrome, and then it's kind of dark on the inside. Okay. And by the way, for any of you 3D modelers out there, I figured this out. Well, I didn't figure it out. I watched a video on it. If you don't want to model something with thickness, because this is infinitely thin, but you want a texture. Obviously, these are single faces since I didn't add any depth to it. I've got two different textures going into one mix shader. Just look under input and geometry node, and then attach back facing to your factor on your mix shader, and whatever's on the bottom will be on the back faces, and whatever texture is on the top will be on the outer faces. This way, can you see how infinitely thin it is? It's just, these are single faces going around, and I was like, I don't really want to add the solidify modifier and then work with that. I said there's no reason this has to have any thickness to it. So all I did was use a geometry node and attach back facing to a mix shader, and then you have to have obviously two different shaders or images. Like these are shaders. These are principal BSDF shaders, but you can actually do it with images. So like if you were to have a leaf or something like that, which is the video that I follow, he was showing how to do a leaf, an infinitely thin leaf with two different textures, one on each side, since leaves aren't the same on both sides. I was like, oh, cool. So I follow his video, but anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. If you don't want to add any thickness and you just want it to look like it's got thickness and it's two different materials, that's how you do that. Just geometry node into your mix shader and run two shaders, and then there you go. But anyway, this is what this piece looks like. So I'm going to hide him so that we can see the other one. So let's bring back the other one. And then, oops. Okay. So then there's this one here. All right. And I just did the same thing here. Oh, let's see, I gotta fix some geometry right there in the front, but okay, it still works. Alright, so that's what that one looks like. And that one is this piece right here. And you can barely tell in here, but it does look hollow in the front. It's got kind of a square base to it. Oh, and by the way, that first one where the pieces came down, I don't know what that goes into. maybe a square block or something. It almost looks like a flat rectangular box, but I can't be for sure. There's still something in the way here, but that's what this piece looks like. Oops, where did you go? There you are. Oh my gosh. All right, that's that piece. Okay, now the third one is actually, let's put the first one back. Pretty darn cool. Oh, let me go back to layout. You don't need to see all that. Click on the third one. This thing here took a little bit to figure out. Wait a second. There we go. But I believe I've got a pretty accurate representation of it. So you can see that it looks like, once again, we're just guesstimating here, that these are holes in it. And the image was probably a little better for the final. I'll show that. But it's got this part that comes out here, out the back. It seems to look like this right here. Alright, that seems to be what it looks like. No, I forgot to delete that face on the back, but that's okay. And like I said, all these little pieces are all together right there. I don't know what they are, but all of them are pretty shiny and reflective. So whatever they are, they've got a good bit of shine to them. So I modeled them as chrome. Obviously, we don't know what they're made out of until we can get some clearer images from NASA. That would be real nice. But there you are. There's that one. Okay, let me make sure I got everything. Was there the box? All right, so there we go. That's what I got for today. Listen, you guys have a great day. Hope to get another one out here in the next couple of days. So take care of yourselves. If you like the work that we're doing, please like this video, share it with anybody you can, and hey, so if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, when I release a new video, you'll be the first to know. All right, y'all have a great day.